Antonelli from Kickcharge Creative with another episode of Branded or Blanded. Today we're going to be reviewing the branding for AOK Heating and Cooling from Fayetteville, Georgia, and it was submitted by Tyler Swenson. So let's get right into it, just talking about naming as the first thing here, okay? So AOK, what I like about AOK is it gives us an idea of brand promise. It's delivering something that sets the expectation of what the deliverable may be should I choose to hire them. Meaning, I get service from AOK and I expect my deliverable to be AOK as well. So it is actually delivering brand promise. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of initial-based brands. However, in this particular case, we have something that is actually delivering brand promise with it. So I'm going to score that at a 7. As far as memorability, there's not an awful lot about this brand that I think is very memorable. We're going to talk about the colors in a second, but certainly just the oval, the lettering, the lockup, the way it's integrated on the truck, not a lot about this I feel is going to really spark someone's interest and make them think about this company when they need service. Now, I'm going to score it as a 3. As far as brand colors are concerned, really do not love these brand colors. This dark red and this black, very dreary colors. They're very masculine colors. Certainly colors that just feel like they're not exhibiting a lot of warmth, and are certainly not very memorable or unique. So that's going to score at a 2. Now, as far as the logo and the lockup itself, so visually there's a couple things going on here that are flawed. So you could look at even just the way in which some of these letters are actually composed and put together. So the space between the E and the A is too much. We call that kerning. So that lettering should be put together a little bit tighter on those types of letters. Another thing is we have this AOK lettering here, which is done in a font called brush script. If your logo uses brush script, it is basically a mathematical certainty that your logo really is not good, right? So that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but personal preference. It's a very overused font, and it tends to look dated and not dated in an actual good way. Lastly, we have kind of this since 1972, which is just kind of randomly thrown into this lockup, not something that seems like it actually belongs there. So it doesn't seem well conceived. And then the last thing too, we have the LLC, and you should never use LLC in a logo at all. It's not needed. There's no legal requirement for you to have LLC or ink in your logo, and it tends to make the logo look somewhat amateurish. So for this one, I'm going to say it's a 2. The last thing is the vehicle wrap. So a lot of things going on in here that typically we don't like to see. So looking at the first aspect here, we have just the use of a photograph. Okay, so photographs basically are used as crutches to support poor branding. Okay, and in this case, we're showing a picture of an Amana unit. It's coming almost at the expense of our own brand. So definitely take some points off for that. Lifetime warranty and this Amana badging. We never want to see manufacturer badging on any truck wraps. You may say, well, why is that? They're going to co-op me. They're going to give me some money for it. And the reality is, when this is put on a truck, it signals to the consumer that that's actually the only brand that you service. Okay, so they may look at your brand and say, well, I don't have an Amana, so I can't call this company. A better use of your co-op funds would be to use them in support of other marketing initiatives, maybe a dedicated PPC campaign or a dedicated direct mail campaign that's promoting that specific brand. But don't use it on your truck because it actually works against you and delivers the wrong messaging. There's a message here, something about book online. Very hard to read at this distance. No one's really going to ever actually be able to read this, especially as the vehicle is driving by. Sales, service, installation, probably the 3 most useless words you could ever put on a truck wrap. Of course you do sales, service, and installation. That's really obvious. Just take that out. Don't put that on your truck wraps. Facebook logos also definitely do not put any social media logos on your truck. It should be painfully obvious to most consumers that you're going to be on social media. I really don't need to see a Facebook logo in order to make that assumption. And then the placement of your licenses here, I would just say, listen, just drop them down here below so that they're not in a prominent space. This space here could be better served for something that's more important. And then looking at the way this lettering goes, you see this lettering spans over this back. Definitely do not want to have any lettering that spans over two different colored backgrounds if you can avoid it. You see that they added an outline here to try to basically account for that error, but you should never do that if you can avoid it. Now looking at the rear, let's look at this badge here. So this red badge is now living on a red background, therefore it is a lack of contrast, and it tends to just kind of blend, meaning it's not coming forward enough because of the way it's situated. It's red on top of red. So you never want to have that. They're trying to use an outline to solve that actual problem, but that's actually a flaw, and the outline isn't going to fix that problem. Next, you've got a white outline on black letters on a red background. It just would have been much more legible if this was just simply white lettering on red. You would have had sufficient contrast. Same thing with here, delete the sales and service, delete our air conditioning equipment and all this stuff. So the vehicle wrap really is not going to score very high. There's a lot of fundamental flaws, as we noted. So that's going to score at a 3, giving us a grand total of 17 for the entire brand and then the wrap design. So puts us kind of low on this. Definitely some room for improvement. Were we to redesign this brand, I would think about maybe a way that we can integrate something that delivers the idea of that positive service that AOK is known to. So whether that maybe is mascot based or something along the lines like that, I think that that would work a lot better. Definitely would change all these colors, would move away from this red and black, go with something that has a little bit more energy and something that feels a little bit more vibrant. Anybody else want to have their brand critiqued? Feel free to hit me up, and I'm happy to take a look at it. Thanks for watching.